Hi, welcome to the mandatory radiography information session. We are glad you are here. We find this to be a very important topic for our students to be here because the information session is going to cover a lot of the basic admissions requirements for the radiography program. Radiography is one of our limited enrollment programs. I'm sure you've heard that. You've also heard that it's competitive, and there's other requirements to be able to start the program. So it's not just applying to Wake Tech. And so this information session is going to cover that information. So please take your time going through it. Please take notes. Please make sure to get a copy of the radiography program checklist. That will really help you navigate this process. So, the radiography program, you've probably already done some research. It is going to prepare you to be a radiographer. X-ray tech, I think is what some people also call it. After you have graduated from our program, you are eligible to take the national exam through the ARRT. You will then be able to get a job, hospital, clinic, orthopedic office, wherever. Um, so it's a lucrative career. People like it. With that being said, a lot of people apply. So normally our radiography program, it is a limited enrollment program primarily due to our accreditation. We can only have a certain instructor-student ratio. We also have clinical sites we have to go to. You as a radiography student would receive over 2,000 hours of hands-on experience. So we have to get students out into the field. And so there's only so many students our clinical affiliate partners can handle. So unfortunately, we can only accept so many students. So we accept, the radiography program accepts anywhere between 16 to 24 students every fall semester and every spring semester. And we receive anywhere between 50 to 60 applications for those spots. And so what we use is a competitive process to be admitted into radiography. And we're going to talk about that. But let's start in the beginning. So in the beginning, you have to be a student at Wake Tech. So if you haven't applied to Wake Tech, if you haven't submitted your transcripts, please do that. We need that information. If you've already done all that, you need to let us know that you're done. You know, you've got your application, you have your transcripts. Everybody has to complete the test of understanding. So back when you found this radiography information session, under it there was a list of a couple things you needed to do. One was to take the test of understanding. You need 100% on that. You can take it as many times as you want to. When you're done, let us know. Email us at hsadvising@waketech.edu. We will review your file, and if everything is here, we will get you accepted. We admit students as pre-radiography, so you're not in radiography, but you are trying to get into our radiography, so you're a pre-radiography student. At this time, you're going to be eligible to meet with one of the health science advisors. You're going to be able to register for classes, and you can get your transcripts evaluated if you have university transcripts. Now, transcripts and transfer credit is a point of interest for a lot of students. We have a lot of students apply who have multiple transcripts. So to have your transcripts evaluated, you have to be accepted as a student. You must submit official transcripts, which means they have to come directly from the college. Please note, advisors do not award transfer credits. We do not know what the registrar's office is going to give you credit for. So we, don't make an appointment and ask, what credit do I have? We really don't know. You can go to the Wake Tech webpage under the registrar's office. There is transfer information. You can kind of look up to see if your college is listed, but hopefully your transcripts will be evaluated within 3 to 4 weeks. If they're not, then you can email, that email is highlighted, TranEvalReq, so transcript evaluation request at waketech.edu. Once transfer credits are applied, you can find them in self-service. Self-service is our registration portal, and you can access a lot of our systems through self-service. Now, please note that Wake Tech will award credit for your math and for your anatomy and physiology regardless of the age. But the radiography department has a 10-year time window on the math and a 5-year time window on the biology, the anatomy and physiology. Again, the time limit is on math and biology. It is not on any of the other general education courses. All right, just the biology and the math. So if Wake Tech awards you credit, it does not mean the radiography department will accept it if it is outside of that time window. Now, as a pre-radiography student, you will receive an email about activating your account, activating your student email, and completing the new student orientation and ELI. The one thing we like to mention to students is your Wake Tech email. Wake Tech will send information to your Wake Tech email. They do not send it to your personal email. You may receive a lot of emails from Wake Tech. So it can be a little overwhelming, but please make sure you check that. Advising will send you emails there, admissions. So you need to make it, make sure you activate it and you know how to get into your Wake Tech email. Now, classes, remember we said as a pre-radiography student, you're going to be able to register for classes. The classes you can register for as a pre-radiography student are the general education courses. So what's on this screen is a sample of a program planning guide for the radiography program. And you can see it has a lot of RAD courses. Those are the classes that are competitive. Those are the classes that we can only start 16 to 24 in the fall and the spring. All right, English, biology, those classes are not limited enrollment. We have lots of those. It's going to be the RAD classes. And a lot of students will look at this and go, but wait, the biology, the English are built into the semester. Well, what's happened over time? Educational consultants have come in, they've looked at the process, the radiography department has talked with other peers in the area, and they've just decided that the best, when deciding who can start the program, and they have multiple applications, they give priority to students who have completed the courses. Because students who've completed those general education courses can be more successful because, most students have a lot going on. Work, life, a lot of responsibilities. And just as time has gone on, pretty much all students entering radiography will have all 6 of those general education courses completed. So even though the biology and English are there in the semester, students will have those classes completed. Now, if there ever comes a time when we have fewer applications, then it is possible students might be able to start the program without having all of those general education courses completed. But at this moment, that is not the case. Also, if you're looking at these courses, radiography is a full-time day-only program. So what that means, well, first of all, day only. So we're not going to have evening classes. We're not going to have weekend classes. You cannot complete this program online. The general education courses, yes, but the RAD courses, no. And we say it's full-time because if you look at that program planning guide, you're going to see the class, the lab, and the clinical. Those columns represent the number of hours you will be on campus or in a clinical setting weekly. The credit hour just determines how you pay your tuition. But your time on campus, in class, in hospitals, are the class, lab, and clinical. So in that first semester, you're seeing that RAD 110 is meeting 5 hours a week. RAD 111 is meeting 6 hours a week, and Rad 151 is meaning 6 hours a week. So that's a total of 17 hours a week. You can't pick and choose, you have to take all three. You pass all three of those with a C or better to move to the next semester, and then you can look and see, well, by golly, Rad 161 is 15 hours a week. And then you have Rad 112, which is 6 hours, and Rad 121, which is 5. So you're now looking at almost 31 hours a week, right? Yep, almost 31 hours a week that you are in class. So is it 40 hours a week? No, but it is going to be, it will be very difficult to have a full-time job and still complete this program. The Gen Ed courses you can take online, you can take in the evening, you can take at your own pace. But if you're accepted into RAD, you won't have a choice. That is how the program lays out. So that is a consideration that you need to make if you're planning to pursue this program. So you've applied to Wake Tech, fine. Now you want to apply for those RAD classes. So how do you do that? Radiography has their own program application. There's an application window. The application is online, and you have to meet minimum requirements. So we call it MAR, the minimum admissions requirements, and everything has to be completed with a C or better. Students have to demonstrate a reading and writing proficiency, and most students complete that with English 111, but it could be, other items. Math proficiency. Now remember, the math proficiency has to be within 10 years of the first RAD course. Most students usually have that Math 110 or another college level math course to meet that requirement, but it could be other high school GPA, whatever. The science proficiency, most students usually have the biology 163, anatomy and physiology completed to meet that requirement. Otherwise, it might possibly be a high school chemistry. You also have to be a certified nurse aide, and you also have to complete the ATI-TEAS exam. So these 5 things must be completed to be able to submit the radiography program application. Now, some students will get confused about the nurse aide. The nurse aide is the CNA. Students can take that at any state-approved training program. Wake Tech does have a nurse aide class. A lot of times those will fill up, but if you go to the North Carolina Nurse Aide Registry, they will have a list of all state-approved training programs. It doesn't make a difference where you take it. You just have to complete it, you have to pass it, and you must be listed on the registry by the application deadline. The only 2 exceptions we have that we will accept in place of the nurse aide is if you are already a nurse aide 2 or an LPN. And if you are a nurse aide 2 or an LPN, you just need to submit your verification from the North Carolina Board of Nursing with your program application. Everyone else who is doing the nurse aide route, you need to submit the verification that you are on the registry when you submit your radiography program application. How do you do that? Well, you're going to go to the North Carolina Nurse Aide website, and you could just type in or Google North Carolina Nurse Aide Verify Registry. You should come to this page that's on the screen. In the red box on the screen, you can see where you would put in your social security, fill out that information. When you do that, this page is going to pop up. This is an example of what that registry certification looks like. And this is the Easter Bunny. And you can see that there's an original test date and there's a listing expiration date. That's what we're looking for. That listing expiration date must be current at the program application deadline, and it must stay current until the first radiography course, Rad 110, Rad 111. All right. So when you find this, when you look this up, you can print it as a PDF to your computer, and then you will attach it with your program application when you send it back to us. All right. Now, we do have some common questions that we get with the nurse aide. We have folks that are in a lot of nurse aide area, a lot of medical professions. Um, your only choice is to be a nurse aide, a nurse aide 2, or an LPN. Those are the only three that we're going to accept. If you're in another medical profession, you are welcome to check with the North Carolina Nurse Aide Registry to see if you have the education allowed to challenge the exam. And if you challenge the exam and you're listed on the registry, that is fine with us. All right. We just need you on the registry. So sometimes our paramedics can challenge that exam. I don't believe a medical assisting can, but the North Carolina Nurse Aide Registry changes their processes all the time, so you need to check with them. Students will also reach out to us and say they can't register for the nurse aide class. What do? Well, what happens is students are trying to register for the class through self-service. Self-service is our online registration system. That class that is available in self-service is only for our high school students. You cannot register for that class. If you want to take the nurse aide class at Wake Tech, you're going to contact our Workforce Continuing Education Department. Hopefully the nurseaide.waketech.edu webpage works. Otherwise, you can always Google Nurse Aide at Wake Tech, and then they will have a list of the classes. And then our other question that we get a lot of is, I've completed the class, I've passed the class, but I'm not on the registry. Can I still apply? And the answer is no. You must be on the registry by the application deadline. If not, then you'll have to wait to the next application deadline to submit your program application. So remember, when you are applying and you're planning out your classes, make sure that you plan for the nurse aide class, and you've got a plan to have time to take that exam. All right, nurse aide. The TEAS test is the test of essential academic skills. It is a timed exam. It is proctored by ATI. You can take it online. You can go to a testing center, whichever works for you. You will pay ATI to take the exam. It can be $120, it might be $130, whatever they are charging at that time. There's going to be 4 sections. There's a reading section, a math, a science, and English. We strongly recommend that you take this exam after you have completed your math and you have completed your Biology 163 course. Do not take it before then. Since it costs money, you want to do the best you possibly can on that TEAS test. You want to send all official scores to Wake Tech. We do have a retest policy. Now, this is not a TEAS policy. This is a Wake Tech policy. ATI will let you take the test as many times as you want to. Wake Tech is only going to allow you to take it twice per calendar year with 30 days between the tests. If you take the test more than 2 times, we are only going to take your first 2 tests. All right, we're only going to take the test scores that meet our policy. The TEAS test must be taken within 3 years of the radiography program application, and we will accept the TEAS test version 5 and above. So I think the 5 is a little bit older. Currently they're on TEAS 7. Now, please note that on your TEAS scores, it is going to list how many times you took the test and how many days are between each test score. So when we get those, we do review them, and if we see a discrepancy in the test scores you've sent us, we will reach out to you. All right, so the program application, remember, you've got the Wake Tech application and then you have the radiography program application. So our fall entry, fall is August, that application window will be October 1st through January 31st. That application is online. You can download it, you fill it out, and then you will email it back to us, and that information is on the application, so you're sending it back to the hsadvising@waketech.edu email with your Nurse Aide attached. Remember that Nurse Aide verification. If you're wanting to start in the spring, which is our January start, that program application window is April 1st through July 31st. And you're going to send that in with your Nurse Aide verification. And remember that MAR has to be completed, the English, the math, the science. You need to be on the registry, and we need your TEAS test by those dates. All right. All applications are reviewed. It takes a couple months. That list is then sent to the radiography department. They will review it. They will let us know how many students are going to be accepted. All students will receive an email letting them know if they have been accepted, they have been declined, or they are alternates. This email is going to your Wake Tech email only, so please make sure you are checking your Wake Tech email. Everyone who is accepted, everyone who is an alternate will be invited to the program orientation. You meet up with the department head, the instructors, other students, and if you don't attend, you will lose your spot. So please make sure you are checking that Wake Tech email. Now, once you've submitted the program application, you want to know, when can you start RAD courses? How do you start them? But remember, there is no guarantee you're going to be accepted into radiography. Just because you submit that application doesn't mean you're accepted. We're limited enrollment, and we have a selective admission process based on a point system. Well, what is that point system? How do you earn points? Remember those general education courses that are part of the radiography program. This slide should look familiar. We saw it in the very beginning. There are 6 classes. So those classes earn points. A's are worth 12 points, B's are worth 10, C's are worth 8. The English 111, the English 112, the Psychology 150, the Humanity 110 can be any age. Remember, no age limit. The math has to be within the past 5 years. The math has to be within the past 10 years, and the Biology 163 has to be within the past 5. All right, so if it's outside of that window, you will not receive points for those classes. Other ways to earn points. You can receive 2 points if you applied to the radiography program, weren't accepted, and then you reapplied the next semester. You can receive 2 points, and you only receive that once. You can receive 2 points if you have already completed an allied health related, it's got to be a degree, not a diploma, a degree, and it has to have direct patient contact. So make sure we have those official transcripts. And you remember that TEAS test you have to take. Remember, you will receive points for the TEAS test. So you can see 63 to 70% is 3 points. 71 to 80 is 6 points. Don't forget the retest policy, so don't keep taking the test. You can take it twice in a calendar year, 30 days apart. Now, what we do is we look at each section and we average them, and that will give us our composite score. So our score might be a little different than what ATI gives you because they weight their sections differently. We weight each one equally. Now, we will super score. So if you have taken the test more than one time, we're going to look at each section, and we will average the 4 highest scores from each section. Now, no, you're going to have to pay ATI. I think it's $20 or $25 for every test you send us, but that is how we will average and then award your points. So you will receive points for the classes. You can receive points If you've reapplied to the program, you can receive points if you have a health science degree already, and you can receive points for the TEAS test. So those are the 4 ways that you can earn points. On average, you probably need to have about a 3.5 GPA in those 6 general education courses. There are 6 general ed courses. A's are 12 points each. So if you make straight A's, you have 72 points. Straight B's are 60. And on average, you probably need to have 65 points or higher to be competitive. Unfortunately, that will vary. Every semester is a little bit different because sometimes the radiography program only accepts 16 students. Sometimes they accept 24. So the more students they accept, the lower the points will be. The less students they accept, then the points are going to be higher and it will be a more competitive semester. So one of the most common mistakes is we have students that just want to take 5 or 6 classes in a semester. And if you can make straight A's doing that, then please do it, right? If not, if you are working, if you have a lot of responsibilities and you can only take 1 class a semester or you can only take 2 classes a semester, then do that. Because if you do end up making B's and C's and you're not competitive, you meet with an advisor, you still want radiography, then our suggestion is going to be repeating courses or retaking the T's, either which is going to take time and money. So do the best you can the first time you can. Plan your schedule, prioritize your work. Unfortunately, be realistic about, how much time do you spend. Sometimes some of those, the Snapchats and online social media can kind of suck up easily an hour to 2 hours. So you want to make sure that you have time and utilize the resources we have. Every health science student is assigned a success coach. That success coach can help you prioritize. They can help you manage time. They can help you with study tips. We also have tutoring centers. We have the STEM Center for Science. We have the ILC, that's the Individualized Learning Center for all of our biology courses, math, writing. So all of that is accessible to you. Make sure you utilize them. So we covered everything for the admission. So what do you need to do next? Well, your next steps. Take the test of understanding, right? That's back on that main web page. Once you take that test, let us know. You're going to email us at that hsadvising@waketech.edu. Print that radiography checklist. It pretty much is the information session on 2 pages. So that way you can see the dates, you can see everything that you need to do. If you haven't submitted a WakeTech application, if we still need your transcripts, you need to do that first. If all of that's done, then you're in one of two, you might be in one of 2 categories. If you have everything done and all classes are completed, you're a nurse aide, you've taken the T's, you're ready to apply. Great. Then make sure you find out the next application window, get the program application, complete it, send it back to us at hsadvising@waketech.edu with your nurse aide verification. And make sure you contact ATI and have your T-scores sent to us. If you are a new student, or you're already a continuing student at Wake Tech and now you want to get into radiography, make sure that you have, activate your account, complete that orientation, apply for financial aid if you need it, and then you can schedule an appointment with an advisor that specializes in health sciences. If you go to the advising webpage for Wake Tech, just choose healthcare and wellness, and there will be a link to schedule a virtual appointment. If you are ready to register, remember you've got those 6 general education courses, the 2 Englishes, the math, the humanities, the psychology, the A&P. Wake Tech has 3 semesters. Fall, which is August, spring, which is January, and summer, which starts in May. The registrar publishes different registration priority dates, so you can check to see when it's time to register. We use an online registration system called self-service, and it's available pretty much 24 hours a day, except it looks like on Thursdays from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. it will be down. But otherwise, it is available, and there is a registration guide that you can go through. So you can register when you are ready to. You just cannot take the RAD courses. And after I've said, oh, you can take the English, the math, some classes have prerequisites. Some students may have met those prerequisites, others may not. So if you're not sure if you have met those prerequisites, make that appointment with the health science advisor. All right, because you're not going to be able to register for your Biology 163 unless you have your chemistry or general biology. Self-service will let you know if you've met the prerequisites or not. When you try to register, it will give you an error. But always make an appointment with us just to make sure you've met those prerequisites. Most of the time when students are accepted, they're either accepted with the college level courses or they can take the college level course with a co-requisite. Now, if you need to take the co-requisite, so that would be the English 111 with English 011 or the Math 110 with the Math 010, when you register, make sure you register for both at the same time. They should be matching. All right. The students who need to take that co-requisite class are the students who come to Wake Tech with an unweighted high school GPA between a 2.2 and a 2.8. All right. If your high school GPA is above a 2.8, you're going to go right into your college level courses, your English, your psychology, your humanities. If you come into Wake Tech with a high school GPA below a 2.2, you're going to begin with our transition courses, Math 003 and English 002. And again, if you are not sure what to register for, please make an appointment with a health science advisor. Now, we can help you, advisors can assist you with creating an academic plan. We can look to see, hey, here's the list of courses that you are eligible to take. Advisors do not register you for the classes. Students will use self-service to register. There is that guide online. But if you do have any trouble navigating self-service, you can make a virtual appointment with student records. And they can assist you with learning how to navigate self-service and how to use that system. But the registration guide is pretty helpful. Now, some important considerations. We talked about some, but if you're interested in the radiography program, once you're accepted into the program, you have clinical requirements. You're going to have a physical exam, immunizations, criminal background checks, drug testing. If you have any concerns about the clinical requirements, our clinical compliance administrator is Barbara Smith. Her email is at the bottom, basmith1@waketech.edu, and you can reach out to her. During the quiet times is usually better. Well, she's busy all the time. Reach out to her if you do have questions. The time commitment we talked about in the beginning with how much time those RAD courses take up, right? So one semester you're actually on campus and lab and clinic for 31 hours a week. You also have to remember that the training is going to be physically demanding. You're going to be on your feet a lot. You're going to be moving patients. You're going to be moving radiographic instruments. You might be having to move patients up and down. So you're going to learn how to utilize good body mechanics. But they will talk about that at orientation, but it's just another thing to consider for the radiography program. So if you have more questions, please let us know. Email us at hsadvising@waketech.edu. And if you need to make an appointment, you can go to that advising.waketech.edu and we will be happy to assist you. Don't forget to take the test of understanding, pass it with 100%, print the radiography program checklist, and then email us at the HS Advising email to let us know that you're done. Thank you for your time. Have a great day.